Let me start with a bold statement. $10,000 in savings will change your life more than any raise, any new job, or any credit card reward. I'm not exaggerating, because once you hit that first $10,000, something magical happens. It's not just money sitting in a bank account. It's confidence, it's security, it's freedom, it's options. Think about it. Most people never see five figures in their savings account. In fact, surveys show that 57% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency. So when you build your first $10,000 cushion, you instantly put yourself ahead of the majority. But the real question is, what actually changes when you cross that 10K mark? How does your day-to-day life feel different? How do your choices change? And how does that money start to multiply and create opportunities you didn't even know existed? That's exactly what we're breaking down today. This isn't just theory. This is the psychological, emotional, and financial transformation that happens once you save $10,000. And trust me, number 5 is the one nobody talks about, but it's where the real wealth building begins. Number 1, the emotional shift. Let's start with the biggest change, the emotional one. Picture this. You've been living paycheck to paycheck, stressing about every bill, swiping your debit card while silently praying it won't decline. That constant anxiety, that's financial stress, and it eats away at your health, your relationships, and your happiness. Now, imagine logging into your banking app and seeing a $10,000 buffer sitting there. Suddenly, you're not scared of overdraft fees. You're not terrified of your car breaking down. You're not panicking about rent. What you feel is calm, confidence, relief. There's a psychological phenomenon called the security blanket effect. When people have savings, their brain literally stops going into fight or flight mode over money. They sleep better, they make better decisions, and they're less likely to argue with their partner about finances. One study by the American Psychological Association found that money is the top source of stress for 72% of Americans. But once you hit that 10K mark, that stress shifts. Instead of feeling like money controls you, you start to feel like you control money. And that shift, that's priceless. It's the foundation for everything else we're about to cover. Number 2, financial security and emergencies. Now, let's talk about emergencies, because here's the harsh truth. Life happens. Your car will break down. Your pet will need the vet. Your fridge will die at the worst possible time. When you don't have savings, every emergency is a crisis. You put it on a credit card. You borrow money. You stress for weeks. But when you've got $10,000 in the bank, that same $800 car repair is just an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. This is the power of an emergency fund. Experts like Dave Ramsey recommend at least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up. For many people, $10,000 is that exact safety net. It gives you breathing room. It lets you face life surprises without spiraling into debt. Think about how different your life feels when unexpected bills go from, how am I going to pay this, to, I'll just transfer the money. That shift is pure financial security. Number 3, breaking the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Let's be real. Living paycheck to paycheck is exhausting. You get paid, you pay your bills, you're broke again. And around 63% of Americans live exactly like this. But once you've saved $10,000, that cycle starts to crack. Why? Because you no longer need to wait for payday. You're not forced to put groceries or gas on a credit card and rack up interest. You can actually plan ahead. Suddenly, you can pay bills early. You can buy in bulk instead of one item at a time. You can take advantage of sales instead of paying full price because you're broke at the wrong time. Breaking that cycle is one of the most underrated superpowers of saving $10,000. It puts you on offense instead of defense with your money. Number 4, opportunities appear. Here's where things get really exciting. With $10,000 in savings, you start to see opportunities you couldn't even consider before. Maybe you hate your job but couldn't quit because you had no safety net. With $10K saved, you suddenly have options. You can take a calculated risk, explore freelancing, or move to a new city. Maybe you've always wanted to start a side hustle but never had startup cash. Now you do. Maybe you've wanted to take a course or get a certification to level up your career. Guess what? You can afford it without debt. Opportunities appear when you're not desperate for the next paycheck. And that's one of the most life-changing parts of hitting that 10K milestone. Number 5, the power of investing. This is the chapter most people don't talk about, but it's where true wealth begins. $10,000 is the perfect entry point for investing. With less than that, your options are limited. But once you've built that cushion, you can finally make your money grow. Let's run some quick numbers. If you invest $10,000 in an S&P 500 index fund and let it grow at the historical average of 10% per year, in 20 years, it becomes over $67,000. In 30 years, over $174,000. If you add even small monthly contributions, those numbers skyrocket. And it's not just stocks. $10,000 can be the down payment on a rental property. It can fund a small business. It can diversify into multiple assets. This is where you stop being someone who just saves money and start becoming someone who builds wealth. And that's a huge identity shift. Number 6, social and lifestyle changes. Money changes more than your bank account. It changes your relationships and lifestyle. When you're broke, every social event feels stressful. You're embarrassed when the bill comes. You avoid trips or outings because you can't afford them. With $10,000 saved, you're no longer desperate. You can say yes or no to things because you choose to, not because you're broke. You also start to attract different conversations. People respect financial discipline. Your confidence rises, not because you're flashing cash, but because you're not worried about every dollar. This is where lifestyle starts to feel lighter. You're no longer chained to scarcity. Number 7, future vision, from 10K to 100K. Here's the final and maybe most important point. $10,000 isn't the end, it's the beginning. Because once you hit that first 10K, you've proven to yourself that you can save. You've built the habits, the discipline, the systems, and scaling becomes so much easier. That same mindset can take you from 10K to 50K, from 50K to 100K, and eventually to financial independence. Remember, every wealthy person you admire started with their first $10,000. It's the spark that ignites the fire of wealth. So, let's recap. After you save $10,000, you feel emotionally free. Emergencies stop being disasters. You break the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. New opportunities appear. You gain the power to invest. Your social life and confidence change. And you set yourself up for $100,000 and beyond. That's why $10,000 isn't just a number. It's a turning point in your entire life. Now, I want to hear from you. Where are you right now on your savings journey? Are you chasing your first $1,000, $5,000, or are you already past 10K? Drop a comment below. I read every one. Thanks for watching. This is Smart Sense, helping you turn everyday money into long-term wealth. I'll see you in the next video.